ladies and gentlemen, if we could please have your attention. It is our absolute pleasure to welcome you all to the beautiful Fairmont Chateau Laurier. My name is Shirley.
And my name is Mark, and we are honored to be your MCs tonight as we celebrate John and Sheniz's marriage, or as we can officially call them now, Johnnies. Woo! Now, there's probably two things on everyone's mind. Who the heck are these people, and have they done this before? Well, with regards to the latter, unfortunately, that's a hard no, so we apologize in advance. You can top up your drinks at the bar on the left, and there's a second bar outside, opening up at 8:30.
As for our friendship story with Johnnies, it all began when I met Sheniz in residency. The challenges of working through a pandemic meant to keep us socially distant ironically brought us closer together. Our mans also soon became besties, and we've had epic cottage weekends and even traveled to the Caribbean together.
We've been so grateful to have friends like them because they've really upped our street cred and our fun factor. However, as we spent more time together, we actually all realized that I'm actually a lot more like Sheniz than John.
And I'm more like John than Sheniz. Let us explain. Both John and I are extremely witty, have impeccable sense of style, can inhale an entire cheesecake, and I too am a master of limbo. This is a plug to challenge him on the dance floor tonight. Someone needs to take this guy down.
It's on. While Sheniz and I we both exude a contagious optimism. We're easy on the eyes, and we're practically Olympic-level athletes with abs of steel. Sorry, ladies, I'm taken.
So, long story short, to answer why us as hosts, they're obviously a little preoccupied being the stars of the evening, so they found the B-list versions of themselves to sub in. But now, let's bring in the real deal. We would like to welcome the A-team, Sheniz and John, to the mic to introduce the gorgeous bridal party.
Okay, hello everyone, and thank you for all being here. So we're gonna just start with introducing this beautiful head table here who's been with us all day and keeping it really fun. First off, we have Kate Harriet here, the first bridesmaid. She is the eldest of the Harriet siblings. She is a woman of many talents. She used to be a professional actor in Saskatchewan. She's an amazing singer, a very amazing auntie and plant mama, and she has an ear for creating musical arrangements such as the song that you heard the bridesmaids sing at the church today. She is wonderfully warm and patient to all those around her. And if anyone wants to talk Shakespeare, she is your gal.
All right, next up on the far end of the table, we have Trevor Knox. He's the first groomsman that I have the privilege of introducing. Our friendship began with him teaching me everything I needed to know to become an elite running shoe salesman at Sport Check. I have returned the favor by giving him elite fantasy football advice ever since. I have many fond memories of our yearly trips to Regina Beach for Canada Day, or our epic camping trips in the Douglas Provincial Park Overflow Camping Field. Highly recommend. And I look forward to our next visit together in Vancouver or Toronto.
And next up we have Sage Yathan right here. She is one of the middle Harriet siblings and one of John's younger sisters. Very much on brand for the Harriets, she devotes most of her time to those around her. She's a dedicated and loving mother of little Charlotte and Jack, and she works as a social worker at a high school, supporting students who are also mothers or expecting mothers. With how busy she normally is, I've heard from some sources that she's really looking to get loose tonight. I meant let loose, not get loose. Sorry. I wrote it as let loose.
The hard L, yeah. Clarified? Seems like people misunderstood. All right, now that we've clarified that one, the next in line is Orion Roywright. Having met when we were just toddlers, Orion is without a doubt my longest standing friendship. While I don't remember those early years, if it was anything like high school, he was probably more popular than me, getting more attention from women and sporting a mohawk. Super glad that we have managed to stay connected all of these years, and I promise we will visit you in Swiss sometime.
Next up, we have Maya, the youngest Harriet sibling. She is effortlessly cool, wise beyond her years, and very well spoken. For example, when she and I have watched the same movie, and I hear her explain the movie to someone else, it sounds like she watched a totally different movie than me.
All right, next we have Julian, a third from the end there. One day in December 2018, Julian messaged me on Facebook, replying to a post about when I was looking for a new roommate. After interviewing several potential candidates that we thought we liked better than him, and leaving him on red for 6 whole days, I had a look at his profile, and he looked like a cool guy who was in a band. So I replied to invite him over for a hang, and we've been hanging ever since.
Next up, we have Jaylu Samir. Jaylu and I go way back. I've known her ever since I was born, actually, because she's my eldest sister. She's always been the cool older sister, sorry, Layla, who would buy us Nintendo. She got us hooked on Sailor Moon, and she had the coolest mixtapes with Britney, Christina, the Spice Girls, and she got me my first karaoke machine. Not only that, she's one of the strongest and most resilient people that I know. For anyone who watches Friends, in a sense, she's like Chandler, because I still, for the life of me, can't explain what she does for work. But I do know it's something really important as an engineer in the D&D, and it's enough for me to know that I'm very proud of her.
All right, next we have Neil Armstead. Neil and I have a non-traditional origin story to our friendship that began as 2 guys dating 2 sisters in the same household, fighting over the remote, the sea-doo, or fighting over who was the most clever pre-med boyfriend. Fortunately, as fast as we could, we got out of those relationships, we got into med school, and we put our differences behind us. Sheniz and I have had so much fun with you and Renelle during our shared years in Toronto. I am proud to call you my beer pong partner, and I'm thrilled to have you up here at the head table, both as a great pal, but also as the lead representative for all the med school boys over at table number 3.
Next up, we have Layla, who is my other older sister. With only a 2-year difference between us, I would say we have a pretty typical older sister, younger sister relationship. And by that, I mean, Layla started telling me what to do at a very young age. For instance, when I was 4, she told me to cut the hair of my favorite stuffed animal because she convinced me that it would grow back. And it did not, and I was very upset. Also, she was definitely the angel child of the family, which made it pretty difficult for me to push my own agenda with her parents. She would diligently do her homework after school every day. So, every day, I would barge into her room to both distract her and also delay from doing my own homework. It's harder to do that now that she lives in BC. But she's out there providing awesome medical care, from bringing babies into the world to supporting people during their last breaths, and everything in between. So I guess you're pretty cool too.
All right, and last we have Keith Johnstone. I first crossed paths with Keith, I think, at an elementary school volleyball camp, and then again in high school, and then again several years later in medical school, and then again when we matched to the same specialty at the same university, at the same hospital in Toronto for residency. So over the years, we have connected over our shared interest in global health, our shared perspectives on the world, and our shared love for having a really, really good time.
All right, let's give it up for the bridal party. Woo!
It's my great pleasure to introduce the parents of the bride, Ed and Shan, who had the foresight to put 4-year-old baby Sheniz in soccer, and what an excellent decision that was. Let's give them a round of applause.
Okay. Hello, good evening. For those of you whom I haven't met, I'm Ader Yüzlü and my dear wife, Shan Sia, and the mother and the dad of Layla. How is it? Better now? Okay. Yeah. I only had one glass of wine, but, happens. So, I'm going to say a few words about the one that I know most, namely Sheniz, and maybe the one I've known for the last few years, John himself as well. So, we know Sheniz when she was born, tiny little one, and she grew up in two cultures, Turkish and Chinese. So we're looking. She looked Turkish? Oh, no, Chinese. And so we got a conflict here. She keeps saying Chinese, and what she's doing. So we settled on, let's see when she's grown up. Well, you can decide.
Very, very chubby face, the meat coming down.
Yeah. Anyway, but she grew up, thanks goodness. And I have some limitations that she has given me. I mean, what do you do when a kid, 4-year-old, starts soccer? When she's in high school, she's doing fantastic in athletics. She's doing music. She's doing very well. So, I'm a proud dad, and I'm from Turkey, so I like to be bragging. And always, even before coming here, she calls me Baba, which is the Baba, no bragging. So what do I say if I don't brag? Okay, no bragging. Her mom can brag if she wants to. So we said, okay, we'll cut it short. 3 minutes. Ooh la la. Okay. Well, hers was 3 minutes, right? It didn't look like that. Anyway, so I'll try to cut it short. Sheniz's life was basically dominated by sports other than the academic stuff. And it was, who doesn't know? Soccer. Soccer, soccer, soccer. Going to Toronto, soccer. Going to Montreal, soccer. Going to Kingston, soccer. Okay. So, keep that in mind. It was soccer, huh? So, but it wasn't only that. She was 4 years old, maybe not even 4. And Layla is already playing soccer. She, goes with the ball, wherever the ball goes. Sheniz got me by the hand, and she got herself a little ball, and she keeps pulling me. Come, Baba, come, Baba, come. Wait, we're watching the game. Your sister is playing. No, come, Baba. Boom, boom, boom. Everybody says, you should put this girl in soccer. So that's how the beginning of her youth was. And I mentioned about the two cultures. There's some similarities. And if you don't know, I'll tell you. You got to do this, Sheniz. This one. You do this, Sheniz. Sheniz, you got to practice your piano. Sheniz is fed up with the piano. She's got, you got to practice before you can eat this, before you can do this. So Sheniz got fed up with this insisting. I mean, it came to the point that if we told her go and score, she won't score. But I'm not sure if that was intentional. But poor Sheniz, she goes and scores 2 goals. And we have decided, don't bug her, okay? She gets nervous. She's got 2 scores. Halfway on the way back, Sheniz, you could have scored the 3rd one. Leave her alone. Why did you pass the ball to the other one? You could have scored on. So that's how Sheniz evolved under this pressure and that pressure, but she did not too bad. She did quite well in sports, and then time came, well, you got to do very well in music. And then time came when we're bugging her, Layla is in medical school, so you better make sure you get ready. So poor Sheniz comes one day, Baba, it's not only med school in the world, you know? Oh la la, I said, I'm afraid she's going to give up. So she didn't. She made it. And anyway, she is a very good-hearted person, but she has a light side to her personality. I'll tell you what. 7 or 8 years old. Layla's having a birthday. I don't know, they've prepared something from Sheniz to Layla's birthday. But when the time comes, Sheniz comes with a big bag or a box of something, what was it? Coins. And a lot of dimes and nickels and pennies. Good amount of money. So Layla's happy, and Layla, Sheniz, where'd you get all this money? I stole it from her. That was Sheniz.
She's giving her back as a gift, birthday gift.
So that's Sheniz. And then she made it to med school, in spite of not working like we were telling her to. And here she is. I suppose half are from her med school, and the other half are from Jonathan's side, med school. Yeah, I think if I ask who is not from med school, who? Raise your hand. Who is not? Other than my brother, maybe. And so anyway, we're happy with the results. And then when she was in med school in McMaster, she was every now and then, first year, couple months, saying, did you meet somebody, Sheniz? No, I am the only one without a boyfriend. So, oh la la, I don't want to encourage her, just go and get anything, you know. So one day she came and she said, I met a nice guy. So, of course, what comes to my mind? Where did you meet him, Sheniz? Soccer. So, soccer is back there again. What were you doing? Oh, it was a tournament, and here's this nice guy. Apparently, he was scouting for a nice girl. And he came to me, introduced himself. And that's how it's happened, guys. That's all I know. I mean, maybe they can tell something else, you know? So anyway, and that was the start of this beautiful couple. And all I can say, I mean, I think his parents will talk more about him, but we're happy that he's a good-hearted person. I can tell you that when I went to the hospital, he was every day on the phone 2 hours. I mean, my own doctor wasn't looking after me that much. Yeah, no, he's a lovely, young, good-hearted man. And all I can say, we're happy to welcome you. And maybe you have to say
We are
something.
so happy to have you join our family. Seriously.
And the good thing was that from the first day we met Jonathan, I said, does he smoke or anything? No, no. Drink anything? No, maybe. How does he like our food? Maybe, you know. Oh, no,
He
no.
loves our food. The dumplings, my dumplings, he loves it.
So he'll eat Turkish food or Chinese food and whatever else comes. So I think I better leave because she's told me 3 minutes. I probably went over my limit. So welcome and congratulations, and we love you. And maybe we should say a big hand to the new couple.
Hi, guys. All right. So, continuing with our speeches, we're truly happy to introduce the parents of the groom, Karen and Trevor. You can usually find them walking around with binoculars doing some high-level bird watching, yoga, or you can find them at their local pickleball court. Please welcome them up.
Hi, everyone. I want to begin by making a formal apology to Sheniz for not introducing little baby John into soccer at the age of 4. It was completely my fault. I'm sorry, Ed. There's still time. Maybe we can make him into a soccer player. So, Karen and I have so very, very much to be grateful for today. Most of all, seeing our son joining his life to the life of such a fine young woman in Sheniz, and to be able to gather as friends and family to celebrate their marriage together. From an early age, Jonathan liked to consider all the facts before making any decision. Everybody knows this, right? He thinks things through carefully and methodically, often with great speed, but he's more inclined to weigh the pros and cons than to just make an impulsive choice, all of which is very helpful in his chosen career. But I think meeting Sheniz, though, may have been an exception. Love has a way of pushing us out of our usual mode of operating. Soon after Jonathan met Sheniz, he called his sisters to tell them about her. Now, John was raised by 5 strong women, 5 of them, starting with Louise, his grandmother, who is here with us today, and of course Karen and his 3 sisters. So after meeting Sheniz, he called his sisters and said he thought he had found the perfect partner and that he hoped to marry her. And he called Karen and I a bit later, told us the same thing. We could not have been more delighted. Perfect is a word that comes to mind when we think of Sheniz, but we tend to run out of superlatives when we try to describe her to our friends. But most of you know her very well. Her determination and single-mindedness when she has a task to tackle. She had a little bit of free time in the last couple of weeks, so she's working on us to make sure we were all pointed in the right direction. I had about 3 pages of an itinerary of things to do Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, mostly involving driving. But she did that all with a very light and efficient hand. So, and when we look at all the things that Sheniz has accomplished in her life, it's amazing, And even though we're not her parents, we can't help but feel a lot of pride in her. The incredible thing is that this focus and determination she has is somehow mixed in with soft-heartedness too. Her delight in beauty and nature and children, and connection to family, a love of music. And she has a spirit that lights up any room that she enters. Her academic achievements are many, of course, right through med school, her residency and fellowship, but that's just one side of her. There's her relational, social skill and her instinct, knowing just how to connect with and fit in with any group of people. And our family has put that to the test, right? Believe me, we are a loud and emotionally expressive bunch, not to mention incredibly opinionated. I have not seen her roll her eyes once, though she would have had ample cause to do so. And of course, we have been very delighted to hear her sing and play piano and guitar. When John and her visit, we try to squeeze in a little sing-along, and Sheniz is always the most enthusiastic participant. And her athleticism, we'd heard she was a good soccer player, but the first time we went to watch her play, she was on the sidelines at first, waiting to be subbed into the game. The game was going well for her side, the ball going back and forth as it does in soccer, but then suddenly somebody appeared on the field and took the ball in a blur of speed. I had to get my eyes to speed up to realize it was Sheniz. She was down the field with the ball, and she ended up scoring the winning goal in the game. It was a championship game. So last month, Karen and I, we've been playing pickleball. We think we're decent pickleball players now. So we thought, no, Sheniz and Jon are visiting. We'll get them to play some pickleball with us. We show them another sport. They've never played this sport. Should be good. Right, Karen? Well, they killed us. And 3 games straight. Pretty soon we had to, okay, we're splitting you guys up. I had Sheniz on my team after a while, and she was amazing. Every so often, though, in pickleball, you tend to screw up something now and then. And there was a few F-bombs came out there. That was a bit surprising, but it was kind of fun seeing that on the side of Sheniz. Okay, here we go. Karen, you're up.
Yeah, thanks. Trevor and I will always remember the days that we spent camping and hiking last August in Lake O'Hara. So Sheniz was just amazing. She was bubbly and keen through the whole experience, which involved having to pitch tents, cook over out of doors in the rain and in the snow and the wind, and setting up camp and everything, learning how to make a fire. She was like super keen making the fire. One morning we woke up and actually all the tents had turned into snow-covered igloos, I guess. I don't know what the word. But anyway, she still had a smile and bubbly. I know that she learned to love fleece clothing, fleece outerwear, and bubble, like puffy coats. So she's expanded her wardrobe to include things that she has to wear when she visits us on the prairies and we go to the mountains. I know she has a puff coat now. So anyway, one day we were about 2 kilometers into a hike, and then I realized that I'd forgotten my hiking poles. And so I just said, I forgot my hiking poles. And then the same as with that soccer thing, suddenly out of our peripheral vision, there was just this blur, and we turn around and she's running back, like running on the mountain 2 kilometers back to get my hiking poles out of my tent. And so we just sort of started a conversation. I don't even think 10 minutes passed, and then she comes back with the hiking poles. We go, oh, okay, that's... And Jonathan said, oh yeah, well, she likes to run. Okay. So, yeah, that's really perky, really clean, really keen. Anyway, another thing we've seen in Sheniz, you can't really name it or put our finger on it, but there's something about her, and I think Jon talked about it in his awesome vows, and Sheniz talked about it with regard to Jon in their awesome vows. I mean, weren't those just the best vows? It was just so meaningful. So thank you for the time that you took putting those together. It was just really nice. But so something in Sheniz makes Jon want to be a better version of himself. We actually had this written before the vows. To rise to meet Sheniz where she's at, to be a loving partner to her, and to just really commit to sharing fully in the responsibilities of, household, balancing all the interests in their home. And as parents, it makes us very proud and curious and happy to see our son and in such a wonderful relationship. So Sheniz, you know Jon as a deeply loyal partner, somebody who's passionate about public health, dedicated to doing what he can to bring good health care to underserved communities. You know that he's steadfast and honest, outgoing, faithful with his friends, dependable in the face of hard tasks, and that how he takes on challenges with courage and commitment. And we just see so many amazing qualities also in you, which your dad alluded to. So we feel that you've chosen each other because you've seen how you complement one another, and because I think one of the ways in which you complement each other is your great respect and commitment to family, which of course we're very grateful for. So Trevor and I are always delighted and grateful that you want to spend time with us, either traveling somewhere or coming home to the prairies. And we love hearing about the time that you spend with Ed and Shan, Layla and Jaylu and family. And so all of us. I know we can speak for all of the family. Sage and Deacon, Charlotte and Jack, Kate, Maya, my mom Louise, my sister Kim, Trevor's sister Jackie, and her husband Bill. We just want to extend to Sheniz our deepest love and all the blessings that we can muster. We anticipate so many more good times with you in the circle of our family, and we're very grateful for the warm welcome that we have gotten from the Ariuzlu family as they've widened the embrace of their strong, loving family to include John and now us. So we look forward to more and more time together as family and friends in the years to come. And so I'd like to invite everybody to just raise a glass to Jonathan and to Sheniz.
Cheers.
We have the next set of speeches coming up. So let's please give a warm welcome to the bride's sisters, J-Lu and Layla. These two have been Sheniz's partners in crime since childhood, although we're told one acted much more criminal than the other.
I promise I am fun. Good evening, everyone. What a joy it is to finally be here celebrating with you all. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Layla.
And I'm J-Lu. We first met Sheniz 28 years ago. I'm safe to say our relationship with her and between the three of us has evolved over time. One of the funniest memories I have of Sheniz was when she was a baby, about 1.5. Layla was 3. They were playing together. It was the classic young kids not keeping their hands to themselves and poking, bothering one another. Things escalated quickly. Next thing we knew, the docile baby Sheniz somehow threw her 3-year-old sister down on the ground, got on top of her, and doing a chokehold with Layla screaming under her. We had to pull her off like in a wrestling match. From that point on, we realized there was more to this docile baby than meets the eye.
So while I don't quite remember that incident, one of my earliest memories of the two of us together was also a memory in which I remember being really proud of her. I was 6 years old, and Sheniz was only 4 then, and we were out on the schoolyard during recess time with my friends. I remember Sheniz coming to join us on the monkey bars, and she was able to just fly across them better than any of us could, and I remember beaming with pride.
And she sure took off from there. When I went into her high school, after they've all graduated, I went in there to vote once. Sheniz's name was on multiple banners decorating the gym, noting all of her incredible sports achievements. So I don't know if you got the memo today. She's really good at soccer. Just so if you weren't aware, she's really good at soccer and running and tennis, and the list goes on. There wasn't a sport that she didn't sign up for and go on to excel in. In true youngest sibling fashion, she was fearless.
And sometimes reckless. Like that one time our dad came back with his brand new car and told Sheniz specifically to not ride her bike on the driveway beside the car.
And wouldn't you know it, later that day, Sheniz rode her bike down the driveway in between both cars, leaving a long nose-to-tail scratch on the new car. We didn't stick around to witness the aftermath.
But she's not just all bronze. I must say, it's incredibly convenient to have a sports med doc available for any MSK questions I have, who doesn't expect me to remember every muscle, attachment, insertion, and function in the body, just, it hurts here when I do this.
Now, we can't talk about her brains and bronze without talking about her heart. Even at a young age, she found ways to express her love. At each Christmas, since she was very little, she gifted our dad a collection of loonies and toonies wrapped in really old tissue paper. generously gifting him all the money that she took from his own change bowl. Dad would open one by one and revel at each one, while the rest of us had to sit patiently waiting for the real gifts. But it was the thought that counts.
We're both also really into the feels. As teenagers, we decided to watch the Disney classics, the classic The Fox and the Hound, a seemingly harmless movie. We were woefully unprepared for this tearjerker. I recall our dad running up to us from his study because he heard us full-on wailing, tears pouring. Sheniz was howling. And I kid you not, he turned to us and said, "I don't think this movie is appropriate for you."
Sheniz is fiery at times. John, I'm sure you're familiar. Fiery dragon at times. And loyal, caring, funny, very intelligent, and when she's determined to do something, she excels at it until she gets it done. John is just the perfect match for her in every way.
We are thrilled that he's a good crier like her.
And that he can match her love of beach volleyball.
And she'll now go to all-you-can-eat sushi with me.
And that he has made her come around to the best dessert baking has given us, the cheesecake.
But jokes aside, it's easy to see how loving, caring, and supportive he is of her and how happy they make each other. We are so incredibly proud of our sister and the man she has found to spend forever with.
We're thrilled that they have found a deep love and companionship in one another. They're well matched and they support each other in every aspect of life. They have all the ingredients for a love that will last a lifetime.
We love you both to the moon and back. Congratulations, Sheniz and John. Now let's raise a glass to the new bride and groom. Cheers.
So next up, we have a toast by the groomsmen. Keith, DJ Johnstone, and Neil, cool, Armstead, who we have been told knows some things about some stuff. I don't know. I don't know what that's about. Anyways, let's give them a round of applause as they come up to the podium here.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Keith, and this is Neil, and we're going to give a toast to John. I just want to start off by saying what a beautiful wedding this is, and it's just been so amazing so far. The speeches have been beautiful. The dancing was just, I've never experienced anything like that before. And the first dance, I think we all know that Sheniz is capable of feats of athletic greatness, but John, dang, wow, that was impressive. So yeah, we're two of John's med school buddies, and we're gonna tell a few stories about our dear old friend. So many of you may not know that John and I actually go all the way back to high school, or I think it may have been that elementary. You know, it's all a bit hazy. Sorry. I think John may actually be right. I believe it was volleyball. We both went to Sheldon Williams Collegiate in Regina, but we were just acquaintances. We didn't really know each other. John was a year behind me and on the straight and narrow with a good crowd. I ran with, let's just call it a rougher group. So John and I never really ended up hanging out that much. In fact, John recently confided in me that when he first saw me walk into the med school class on that first day, he was like, "What? Why is Keith Johnstone here?" And then who would have thought I'd be here almost 10 years later now giving a speech at his wedding.
Like John mentioned, I met him in an adversarial role. He was dating the older sister, I was dating the younger sister. We were both competing for scarce resources of the good TV to watch movies on or whatever. And then, again, we started med school together. I showed up the first day in like a collar, taking things quite seriously. He was probably wearing like a pastel tank top or something, give or take. Anyways, so didn't like him again. And then over time, we grew from being people who knew each other to people who hang out to me driving him all over Saskatoon because he insisted on not having a car in a city with no public transit infrastructure, to being very close friends, and then to being not just beer pong partners, but I would say the pinnacle of beer pong excellence, having won not one but 2 College of Medicine titles in the tournament. So, yes.
All right, so despite our rocky start, John and I, we really connected in medical school over our shared interest in social justice work. And John knew that a career in medicine meant a lot more than just treating individual patients. It was an opportunity to be a transformative force in the world for good. This conviction has been his North Star, leading him forward, whether it's been on global health trips in northern Saskatchewan or Africa, working with the NDP, or as co-chair of Health Providers Against Poverty in Toronto. All of this has led to his most recent endeavor, his dream job as a family doctor specializing in HIV care. Reflecting back on our friendship now, I've seen just how much John influenced me. I don't know if I ever would have chosen family medicine had it not been for John, or gotten involved in all this political action advocacy stuff. John has had a hand in all of this, and I wouldn't change any of it.
The influence for both of us was very direct. We both followed John's lead and decided to do our residencies in Toronto. You know, want to maintain. And the good times rolled in Ontario. We were going to Raptors games. I was always relying on John's exhaustive list of restaurants to try, and following his lead again to just sort of live that big city life that he took to naturally, and I didn't take to at all. His shabby Beatrice rental apartment that was the magnet that drew all of the people from Saskatchewan in the GTA to every gathering there. Yeah. Shout out. Like 40 people there, 35 of whom were born in Saskatchewan for any given gathering. And now he's grown into a Torontonian who is a well-rounded man's, who has mastered the city by subway, streetcar, and Honda Civic, driving himself now, owning a wonderful home, and establishing a dream practice.
So to be honest, I struggled with this speech. I wanted to be sure that I did John justice. He has been such an important friend to me, and I know to so many people here. It's hard to think of someone that I respect and admire more. John is a singularly driven person. He has a vision, and he knows what he needs to do to get there. He applies this to his work, but also to his personal life. He truly lives life to the fullest. He's a social butterfly with a natural inclination to make new friends wherever he goes. And it really shows here today with all these amazing people here. These qualities not only make him a great man and friend, they will make him a great husband for Sheniz as they start their life together.
We've heard this, but Sheniz is obviously wonderful and made an immediate and terrific impression. She was, clearly the lighthearted, light up the room, open-minded, inquisitive person that was exciting to be around. The first time I remember meeting her, she showed up at my apartment in Toronto, and I knew that John was serious because he was playing beer pong with her against me, his championship partner. So we all knew that the relationship was serious, and they absolutely mopped the floor with me. So, she, not that my approval is important, but she earned it immediately.
Yes, similarly, it quickly became clear when John met Sheniz that something special was happening. When my wife, Anna, and I went on our first double date with the couple, Sheniz was an instant hit. I mean, how could she not be? She was warm and personable with a great sense of humor. Her kindness really shone through. Little did we know that beneath this was the same kind of drive and competitive spirit that we knew existed in John. Since then, their love has blossomed into something truly beautiful. Their hardworking but fun-loving natures complement each other perfectly. One need only scroll through their Instagram feeds to see this play out in all of their exciting adventures together. We all strive for that elusive work-life balance, but it actually seems like John and Sheniz are living it. I also want to say, as a fellow competitive person, one thing I've learned in my almost 1 year of marriage so far is that it's a team sport. Even the best teammates feel at odds sometimes, but you have to remember that it's the two of you against the problem. Lift each other up and you'll go far together.
I've been only married for about 3 weeks, so no sage advice. Don't lose your ring.
Oh, and happy wife, happy life.
Okay, so join us in raising a glass to John, our dear friend, and Sheniz, his wonderful bride. May you find joy in the simple things of life. May there be few clouds in your life and always filled with silver when you find them. And may you find the happiness in each other that we've all found having you in our lives. To John and Sheniz.
And now for the final speech of the night. Can we get a huge welcome for our beautiful newlyweds, Sheniz and Jon?
Good evening, everyone. We would first like to thank you all so much for being here today. Whether you're a family member, someone we grew up with, a friend who helped us survive med school or residency, or a friend we met anywhere else along the way, you are all what makes our lives rich and meaningful. Given that John and I are extroverts, we literally need you.
Having waited 3 years for this celebration, it brings us so much joy to be surrounded by all of our loved ones today, and it has definitely been well worth the wait. I am happy to announce that you will never again get another annual postponement email from us. And so let's take a moment to appreciate where all of you have traveled from near and far to celebrate with us today.
All right, let's run the list.
So, we've got some folks from right here in Ottawa, and we also have Kempville in the house, and we have Montreal.
Toronto, Mississauga,
Hey, yeah, let's get some cheers.
Hamilton,
The Hammer. We have folks from my hometown of Regina, Saskatchewan. Of course, we have... Let's go Riders. And we have lots of folks from Saskatoon. We also have people from Strasbourg, Saskatchewan. And we have someone from Meeting Lake, Saskatchewan. Hey.
and then moving further west, we have Medicine Hat, Calgary, Vancouver, and Victoria.
Moving south down the west coast, we have Lake Tahoe. We've got San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego. Hey!
And then going up north, we have Whitehorse, Yukon at the back. Woo woo!
And our furthest traveled from 6,000 kilometers away, we have Orion from Lausanne, Switzerland. Hey!
It is truly amazing, despite COVID-19 and Air Canada's best efforts, that you've all made it here somehow today. Planning and putting on a wedding has certainly been a lot of work, so I think personally this will be my last go at it. But we absolutely could not have done it without the help of a lot of key people.
We want to thank all of the staff at the Chateau Laurier, and yeah, let's go. and all of our vendors for bringing our wedding visions to life, including those in the room. We have DJ Kevin. We have Brie Marie Photography. And we have Greyloft Studios.
We'd like to thank our amazing MCs of the night, our dear friends, Shirley and Mark. We knew we could rely on Shirley to be organized and dressed to the nines. And we knew we could count on Mark to crack some jokes and wear whatever Shirley told him to wear.
We would also like to thank our entire bridal party. We feel so blessed to have you stand with us today, and there were some amazing speeches from the bridal party as well.
Thank you for all the help you've given John and I, and for surrounding us with lots of fun today and lots of love, and for keeping us on track, Neil.
But we all know that wedding festivities begin way before the wedding day. We want to thank our friends for the amazing bachelor and bachelorette parties. They were absolutely legendary.
And going way back to February 2020, the bridal shower that feels like 17 years ago now. Thank you to my sisters Jaylu and Layla for creating such a dream shower for me. And for all those who were able to make it there, it was enough bridal love to last me an entire pandemic. So thank you.
We would now like to take some time to address our parents. So first, starting with Ed and Shan here in front of me. Thank you so much for all the support with the wedding and for hosting us during the week. From the very beginning of my relationship with Sheniz, you have welcomed me into your home with unparalleled hospitality. I look forward to many more spirited discussions about history, current events, and yes, politics, and many more morning walks around the beaver pond. I would be remiss without making at least one comment about the food. The family meals we have are always noteworthy, from Ed's tabbouleh, grape leaf rolls, and roast beef, lamb, and salmon dishes, to Shan's famous dumplings, as mentioned earlier, and our nights around the hot pot. These meals bring us together as a family, and we always have a feast. Thank you for raising Sheniz into the amazing and impressive young woman that she is today. You both have truly put your heart and soul into raising all of your daughters, and I'm so lucky to have met Sheniz and become a part of your family. Thank you. Now, to my parents, I would like to specifically thank you for instilling in me the value of a few things like live music and house concerts. You know, those are always fun. Thrift shopping, sports and fitness, time in nature, and social justice. As for how you raised me, I truly feel like you set me up perfectly for success, with enough independence to take risks, make many mistakes, and gain life experience, but enough guidance and support to make it to where I am today. Thank you so much for everything, and for everything you've done for me. So before I hand over the mic to Sheniz, I just wanted to take a quick opportunity, she doesn't know about this, just to make a few more promises to Sheniz that I didn't think quite made the cut for the ceremony in the church today. So just a few, and bear with me here. Sheniz, I promise to help you come up with fire Instagram captions.
Thank you.
Sheniz, I promise to flirt more. I promise to deal with insects in the home with at least 95% accuracy. And I promise to check for food in your teeth with 100% honesty. I promise to try to be less competitive at board games and rec level sports, but that one's gonna be tough. And I promise to love you always and miss you whenever we're apart, even if we are just in different rooms.
Thanks.
And now to Sheniz.
Okay, thank you. Well, I would like to say something off script. Can we just get one quick moment for John for that first dance and all of the months that he put in to put up with me in lessons, and he didn't want to do it, but he did it just for me, and I really appreciate it. I think he did a really, really great job, and he underestimated himself by far. He kept telling our instructor to make it simpler. Okay, so I'd like to take a moment to thank Karen and Trevor Harriet, John's parents. John's wonderful parents, thank you for welcoming me into your family, first of all. You are both such kind, genuine, down-to-earth, and selfless people, and you give so much of your time and energy to those around you. Not even just your family and friends, but also to the whole community that surrounds you, near and far. You're always working towards bettering yourselves and working towards making the world a better place for everyone, with no exceptions. I know that it is because of your very deliberate efforts in how you raised your family that John is the man that he is today, who sees and thinks beyond his immediate circle and is determined to help those who are in need. You also have such a commitment to your relationship. I see how you care for each other's needs and how you're continuously adapting yourselves for the betterment of your relationship. So I thank you today for all those years that you have been modeling this type of commitment to marriage and love to John. Because now I get to join him in marriage, knowing that he knows exactly what a strong, devoted, and lifelong love looks like. Thank you. And finally, I would like to take a moment to thank Ed and Shan, my mom and Baba. To put it simply, everything that I have and everything that I am would not be without you. You are the two of the most hardworking people that I know, and you give basically everything other than the clothes on your own back to your family. I honestly really don't know how I could live up to be as caring and devoted as you are as parents, but I am really excited and determined to try. Sorry, I can't read anymore. Yes. Even though sometimes your love can feel tough, like when I would come home with a 92 on a test instead of a 99 on a test, and you'd say, "What happened?" Or those tense moments when I would get into the car after not playing well in a soccer game, and I just knew I was going to hear about it. I always knew it was because you saw potential in me, and you never let me settle for less. You both taught me that nothing comes without hard work. My mom would sit with me practicing my timetables in the summer while I was in elementary school, and I remember her counting the beats with me while practicing piano. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's ingrained in my mind. My dad and I used to spend hours and hours in the basement and in the backyard and the field by our house, practicing very specific soccer shots and headers over and over again, just for that one moment in a game where the opportunity might arise to use that one skill. Well, now that I'm all grown up, today I'm using all the skills, all the confidence, values, and lessons that you've both taught me to embark on my next endeavor, a lifelong happy marriage. Thank you for your support in this wedding day and our relationship. I will never stop trying to make you proud. That was the last time we're crying today. Now, we would like to raise a toast to every single buddy here. We are so happy you're here, and it's officially time to party.